Hello everyone and welcome back to the Barrel and our series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 fixture, identify some breakout players and set a realistic passing mark for their season. Today we have the GWS Giants, who had a fantastic first full year under the helm of Adam Kingsley, taking them from 16th place in 2022 to a prelim final in 2023, so a remarkable transformation. They're everyone's second team. And I thought on the back half of 2023, they were pretty much the best team in the competition with the footy they played and came very close yet again to a premiership. So can 2024 finally be the year that they get that flag? That's the question we'll be answering today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we analyse the GWS Giants for 2024.
In 2023, the Giants finished 7th on the ladder with 13 wins and 10 losses. They started off the year pretty ordinary, losing to West Coast, Carlton and Essendon, but it was their second half of the year that had everyone talking. They won 7 games in a row before losing to the Swans and Port Adelaide, and then went undefeated until the preliminary final. I think they played by far the most exciting and fast-paced footy in the league and looked like the best team in the league for a lot of the second half of the year. They had everyone barracking for the Orange Tsunami, and it was a great ride to be on, whether you went for them as your first team or not. But unfortunately, this fairy tale ended with a heartbreaking 1-point loss in the preliminary final against the eventual premiers in Collingwood. So it was very much the story of the underdog for the Giants in 2023. No one expected them to get that far, but now that we've seen how good they can really be with their fantastic ball movement, they can use that as a stepping stone to hopefully going one better and making the grand final, or even better, winning the grand final in 2024. For their 2024 fixture, they have the 7th hardest fixture. They have 2 byes in round 3 and 12. As a result of playing opening round against Collingwood. They have trips to Perth, 2 to Adelaide, 4 to Melbourne. They go to the SCG, they travel to Geelong, Brisbane to play the Lions, and Tasmania against the Hawks. For double-ups, they play the Brisbane Lions, Carlton, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Sydney, and the Bulldogs. Brisbane, no one wants to be playing them twice, but I think the Giants have everything in their arsenal to take them down. Maybe not at the Gabba, but you never know. I'd probably give them the best chance of any club to knock them off at the Gabba, purely because of how good they play at other grounds. Carlton are coming into the season in as good of a position as they've been in for a long period of time, obviously being the laughing stock of the competition for numerous years, so they're probably not one you want to be playing twice, especially in Melbourne. Gold Coast should be improving. Their list is fantastic. Dimmer Hardwick has been recruited, so they'll be looking to climb up the ladder and hopefully make it their 8. So certainly a dangerous matchup there. Hawthorn as well, similar to Gold Coast. A lot of people have picked them to make their way up the ladder with the young list they have and the plenty of promise they showed last year. Sydney, the traditional crosstown rivals for the Giants. They've got the wood over them in recent times, so that's probably a favourable matchup for them. And the Western Bulldogs, the traditional rivals for the GWS. Obviously, the rivalry was sparked during that 2016 prelim final, but the Dogs have underachieved massively, I think, for the list that they have, so it'll be interesting to see whether Bevo can get them firing. And if they do, they're a dangerous matchup, but as it stands, I'd say it's probably a favourable matchup for the Giants, especially since they play one at Ballarat, which is where they play some good footy. The Giants have 11 home games, 8 at Giants Stadium and 3 at Manuka Oval in Canberra. There's some blockbuster games there, including hosting the reigning premiers Collingwood at Giants Stadium in the opening round. 5 of 8 fixtures at Giants Stadium feature big Victorian clubs. Anzac Day they have against the Lions in Canberra, and they have a big clash with their rivals, the Bulldogs, at Giants Stadium. Overall, I'd say this fixture is pretty fair for them. There's plenty of blockbuster games. But unlike for other clubs, I'd say that the fixture is of little importance for the Giants. They play great footy anywhere and seem to win at any ground against any opponent. So who they play and where they play shouldn't worry them one bit. For some breakout players, I've identified 3 based on what I saw last year. Number 1, Connor Iden. was probably the best player on that ground in the preliminary final. He was clean, composed, and hit targets all night against immense Collingwood pressure, and I see him building on that performance in 2024. If he sets it as his benchmark, a lot of teams will start respecting him more, as they should, because he's already a pretty damn good player. He's also only 23, so it's scary to think how good he really can be. I definitely see him evolving into one of the best backmen in the competition in 2024. Number 2, Finn Callaghan. Quite a bit of hype coming into 2023 for him, but didn't fully live up to that. However, with what he did show throughout that last year, I say the hype is definitely warranted at an even higher level for 2024. He's fast, a great kick, and impossible to catch when he gets running on the outside. He's instrumental to the Giants' ball movement, so I definitely can see him making the jump towards being one of the best young midfielders in the competition next year. And finally, Aaron Cadman had quite an underwhelming year for a number 1 draft pick, kicking only 6 goals and playing 12 games. But there's been reports that he's put on quite a bit of muscle, and with that, I expect to see him getting more games and having a bigger impact on the scoreboard. I still see Jesse Hogan as the number 1 option in the Giants forward line, but Cadman's versatility and his new build should allow him to get some very solid minutes and be a very viable secondary option. And he should put his name down as a more impactful player, which he missed doing in 2023. So for a passing mark, I see the Giants as a genuine premiership threat in 2024, and I cannot imagine a world where they finish outside of the 8 based on how they played at the back end of last year. They have absolutely no holes in their list, and with the coach that they have now, this is their year to go one better and finally get the premiership that they've been so close to getting in the past. So on that note, for a pass mark, I'd set them top 6, giving how they probably don't rely on the double chance as much as other clubs because they seem to be playing their best footy at the right time whenever they make the finals, and they can win anywhere against anyone. Their forward line is one of the most underrated in the competition. We know how good Toby Green is, but Hogan is a very good number 1 target. Bedford has turned into a very, very good pressure forward. Brent Daniels has been severely underrated his whole career, and Cadman, as I mentioned before, should have a better year. Callum Brown is also a decent forward, and with their draft this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see Phoenix Gothard adding to that talent that they already have in the forward line and getting a few games. Their midfield is as good as they come. Briggs is one of the best and most underrated ruckmen in the competition. Their engine room of Tom Green, Cornelio, and Ward or Perryman is pretty strong, but their wingers are where the magic happens due to their emphasis on ball movement. Callaghan and Josh Kelly are elite at their position, and they contribute massively to the overall game style of the Giants. Their backline is as solid as any with absolutely no weakness. Sam Taylor is probably the best defender in the competition, and around him you have Jack Buckley, who's severely underrated as well. You have Connor Iden, Lockie Whitfield, Harry Himmelberg, and Lockie Ash, who are all fantastic players, and when they're all firing, they're a very, very hard team to score on. So overall, the club is absolutely in fantastic shape. They should be finishing top 8. Realistically, I definitely think they should be top 6, possibly even top 4. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And they should make it far into the finals as well. Hopefully, they can have a very good crack at the premiership, which they just can't seem to win, unfortunately for them. Their list is elite and very underrated, so hopefully more footy fans will start to recognise the real stars that they have everywhere on the ground, as they show why they are one of the best teams in the competition. So that's all I have for the Giants in 2024. Check out our best 22 video in the description for an idea of who we have making their final team. And that'll do it. Join us next time as Jim analyses his Hawthorn team for season 2024. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Yeah.